Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at a new change to Warlocks for patch 8.3. Now, I got some footage recorded yesterday, but I decided to log on the Vapera in patch 8.3 so we could take a look at some of the changes happening to Warlocks and test them out for real. Why are there so many people that are dead? I guess everybody using corrupt items and ends up melting themselves. Anyway, today I want to take a look at the change that's happening to Warlocks. One of the things that we've seen for Affliction Warlock is it's quite a fun spec, but it did change a lot going from Legion. There are a couple talent slots, and this is not the only spec where this counts in. There's a lot of specs where it's a very similar situation, but there's a couple of talent rows where it honestly feels like there's just one option. Take a look at level 15 row for Affliction Warlocks. Usually, everybody is running Death Bolt, and this is the talent row you run. Death Bolt you run for AoE, for single target, for world quests, for dungeons, for PvP. There's a lot of options. Level 30 is a little bit better. Level 100 could be a little closer. There's a couple different specs where the rows are just like, there's no choice. So Blizzard wanted to fix level 15 row for Warlocks, and that's what we're taking a look at today. One of the first changes is gonna be to Death Bolt. Death Bolt has been nerfed on PTR 8.3, so it does 20% of all the dots that you put on enemies. So it does damage percentage of 20% of all the remaining dot damage on an enemy. So if you put up dots, for example, you want to make sure you put up all the dots, and you want to make sure they're refreshed as soon as you can. So let me go and try to see if I can set up some sort of a setup with my dots. I use my Dark Glare way too late or too early. But Death Bolt will do damage equivalent to whatever amount of dots you have. So it's kind of like your big Chaos Bolt-y like damage, and if it has a chance to crit, then you do more damage. That's what Affliction Warlocks has been about. Blizzard wants to tone down the bursty capability of Affliction Warlocks, but making Death Bolt not nearly as good. Understandable. Warlock should be all about dot damage, but nerfing Death Bolt was bad because the other talents weren't buffed. Hell, for the longest while, Drain Soul was actually DPS minus, and Nightfall wasn't enough of a DPS upgrade to be even worth a talent option. So Death Bolt was something that everybody just was stuck with. However, recently Blizzard did buff those other talents on 8.3, and I think this is one of the best buffs ever because it offers maybe some playability for Warlock. For example, Drain Soul. This ability blows, but Blizzard decided to buff it to make it do 50% more damage. By the tooltip, it doesn't seem that this is functional yet. It says Drain Soul should have damage increased by 50%, but right now in PTR it still does 10k. So it's very little damage even right now. So that's a little bit disappointing. But at least on live compared to now, this ability doing 50% more damage would actually make it somewhat viable. Back in Legion, this is what Warlocks used to run. They actually didn't even have Shadow Bolt as a filler, and they would normally use Drain Life as a filler ability. That's how Blizzard decided to bounce them around. But now you can use Soul Life, or at least back in Legion you could use Drain Soul, in order to give yourself a different filler that did do more execute damage, as it does here, and generates a Soul Shard when the enemy dies. This ability being buffed by 50% whenever that happens on PTR should make it a lot better, and should offer a fun playstyle. Nightfall, that's another one that also has been buffed, but hasn't made our PTR servers live yet, actually. Nightfall now increases the damage of Shadow Bolt by 50%. Right now it's still 25%. And it activates 33% more often. Biggest problem with this talent, however, is if you put a corruption on an enemy, you can be here forever until you are able to get yourself a free Shadow Bolt on an enemy. Still waiting. Hell, let's actually put up more dots on enemies to see if maybe we can like flame shock away this talent, you know, give it a flame shock treatment. If I were an elemental shaman, I would have been getting lava bursts and meatballs flying over and over, but here it just doesn't do anything. So this is what Blizzard wanted to do, is to make this ability actually useful, because look at all these corruptions sticking down. Not a single one is going to proc me Nightfall? Are you kidding me? What is this? So proccing the Nightfall more often, but also having to do more damage is quite nice, because Shadow Bolt on its own base does like 6,000 damage. With this proc, that I will. Please proc game. Please proc video game. There it is. Finally we got Nightfall proc, and it does a whole of 8k. So going from about 6.5 to 8 is not enough. This was a Shadow Bolt without any kind of buffs from Haunt or Unstable Affliction, however, so normally those abilities would amp up your damage by a little bit extra. Like what does a Shadow Bolt hit for on average? 7k? Almost 8k? And a Nightfall proc? Gives you about, I think it was a 15k crit, so half of that. Or maybe 8 up to, I don't know. It's such a small upgrade in terms of damage. It's honestly not even worth half the time. Even though I feel like this is live, why is this not live yet? That's a little weird on PTR. But this is a good change. This is finally gonna help Warlocks at least have an option. Deathbolt will be this bursty alternative for pure single target, and still might be the best choice for single target. However, Drainsoul might be good for dungeons when you're dealing with multiple enemies and the playstyle that it can offer, and the fact that it can do more damage and the execute might be, again, really nice in dungeons. Nightfall should be a good option finally for Warlocks if you have a lot of mobility, or if you want to go for maybe a more proc-based bursty playstyle, which could be good in PvP, getting random shadow bolts from time to time. This also could open up a lot of opportunity when all these talents are closed together for like a Drain Life, Shadow Embrace ability. Warlock's supposed to be really good at spraying damage on everybody, but with Haunt, you're kind of stuck to mostly given one target a damage increase. However, with Shadow's Embrace, you could Drain Life an enemy for a couple ticks and build up Shadow's Embrace. Drain Life another enemy, build up Shadow's Embrace, and if you're able to, let's say, maintain powerful dots, like, you know, go Absolute Corruption or something, and then put up dots on all the enemies, you basically just go apply dots here, apply another dot, make sure to drain life before the buff falls off the enemy, and that's all you do, and just maintain dots on things. I think that would be a really cool playstyle. If Blizzard is able to facilitate something like this, I think this would be really neat. And with a buff to Drain Soul, this should be something viable. Nightfall, again, great for mobility. Don't really know if any good... Maybe also for cleave with Shadow Bolts, you know, spamming Shadow Bolt from one enemy to another might make it easier to get some of those abilities through as well. Maybe even Nightfall and Creeping Death could be an opportunity. You know what I mean? Because Corruption takes down faster. So it has a faster cast speed with like Creeping Death, for example. And you're able to get more Shadow Bolts throughout a single target rotation. Maybe you're doing a little bit of mobility. I think something like this would be maybe really good. Could be good for maybe Mythic Pluses with the Grimoire Sacrifice or something. Except it's not proccing. Like, seriously, they need to fix the proc chance on that thing. That is incredible, just how bad it is right now. But I think this is overall a really good change for Warlock. It is looking very favorable. It's something that I think Affliction Warlocks have needed for quite a bit of time to get random Shadow Bolts here. That could be really good, you know, ticking down corruptions faster. Hey, that's a nice proc. What if I were getting those a lot more consistently? I think that would be really nice. The Shadow Balls then can be quite a good portion of your damage, especially when it comes to just moving around. Having a fight where there's a lot of mobility. Running around, dotting the world. Bam! Jump, Shadow Bolt, keep going, dot the rest of the world. I don't know, you guys let me know your thoughts and comments below about the change to Warlocks as of right now. I was really hoping that this would be up on PTR for me to really show you what this is gonna look like. But it seems that they only have Deathbolt available right now, and Drain Soul Nightfall will be changed in the next update. Could be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, or it could be the next time PTR servers go down and then come back up is when we can actually test the damage numbers. But I think this is overall a good step in the right direction for Affliction Warlocks. If they are gonna tone down the damage of Deathbolt, they need to find a way to give back the damage to Warlocks in the end. Drain Soul to make it more a competitive choice, and a great executor is going to be good. Nightfall also going to be a great alternative. I think this is where Blizzard should be at the very start of an expansion when it comes to their classes. Talents that are as close together as they possibly can be, or maybe good in specific situations, but at least there's a choice and a need to use these talents depending on the fight. Or, you know, if they want to go back to and recreate classic World of Warcraft talents in order to get people more options and more robust talent system, not a bad idea, but maybe an idea for a future expansion. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed. You guys let me know in the comments down in the description below, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.